So the way I test those, if I'm
Give me
going
one that you didn't
wireless,
close. I got some. I definitely have some of mine that I do not close.
when shit dies
Lots of mine
down,
that I do not close.
I'll be able to
All
get
right,
some.
how do I do this? We're gonna go here. We're gonna mute everyone. We're not gonna allow participants to unmute themselves. Not that I don't love you guys. It's not that I don't love you guys. It's not that I don't love you guys. All right, let's get to business. Is anyone else here hungry, or is it just me? Maybe we should just all go get some tacos. Sam said he's going to pay for the tacos. It's no problem whatsoever. He says as long as we watch a movie that has to do with that's not DC and that's Marvel, he said he's down to pay. I said okay, we'll watch Endgame. Dang, Darius is starving. Sam said he's down. All right, maybe we should just all go get some food. I just wish we all lived next to each other. I mean, maybe that might not be, there might be a little bit of competition if that was the case. But let's get to it. Let me focus, guys. This is what happens when I don't eat any food for a little bit. So we are officially starting the group chat. We have a good group of people here. We have David Magner, Aaron H., the amazing Aloha Electronics, Arthur, the amazing Brenda Jean, Dan, Darius Moore, David Henry, Jesus, good to see you, MCH, good to see you, Mike, Mohammed, RJ, Sam Superman, and 239. Let's get to it. Message negotiation conversation. Message negotiation conversation. Let me pull this up right here. We're going to pull this up right here. And we're going to go to chat. And message negotiation conversation. All right, guys. So we're going to do a deep dive message negotiation conversation today. I got a question. When it comes to message negotiation, does anyone here, maybe would they be so kind as to enlighten me with some rules for message negotiation? What are some rules? What are some guidelines that I want to follow for message negotiation? And why is it that I want rules? Why do I want rules to follow? Why is it that I actually want there to be strategy? Why don't I just, the customer tells me what they have, they make the offer, and if they accept it, they accept it, and if not, they don't. Well, the problem with that is that's not using any strategy. You're just running numbers and grinding it. And there's certain selling principles. There's certain psychological principles that have been proven to work over decades that if you do certain things, if you say certain things, if you follow certain psychological formulas, it's been proven that over time you can close a higher percentage of people. So the point of this is we don't want to be messaging, 20 people and closing 1 out of 20 phones. We want to improve our skills so we can close 1 out of 10, 1 out of 8 people. So we're working less and making more. And then once you have a formula you can follow to consistently get a percentage of people down in price, you can do that over and over again, consistently, predictably, and then you don't get worried about this business. Like, I never worry about this business. I know that as long as I'm putting up ads, and I'm putting up ads daily on all the platforms, I can consistently get a percentage of people down in price, which means that this business becomes stable, which means that it becomes secure, because I can consistently put out ads, I can consistently reach out to people, and I can use these couple things that we talk about, or 10 or 20 things that we talk about, to always be able to get people down in price. To be able to take people that were selling to other phone flippers and get them to sell to me. To get people that didn't like my price to bring them back into the conversation. And it's not going to happen all the time. In fact, you'll get more no's than yeses, but it's about running the numbers along with good strategy. So that's the whole point of this. I used to go sell rainbow vacuum cleaners door to door. They like to call them cleaning systems. I call them rainbow vacuum cleaners. And they had a little pitch. So I'd run the pitch, I would do the presentation, and if they bought, they bought. If they didn't buy. And actually, no one ever bought from me. But knowing what I know now is I could have done sales strategies. I could have listened to things the customer says. So let me ask you guys a question, team. We're going to go sell someone a vacuum cleaner. And we're talking to the customer, and Jim and Susie Smith, they talk about how one of the things that they don't like about their vacuum cleaner is it, you know, it can clean the floors, but like if their child spills juice on the floor all the time, and if little Timmy spills grape juice on the white carpet, they don't have a way to get that off. So if our vacuum cleaner, because it uses water, can get in there and it can remove that stain, don't you guys think it would make sense that when we're demoing when we're showing our vacuum cleaner and we get to the part where we talk about it can remove stains, we might want to actually find a stain that Timmy made and remove it, and talk about how it can remove all sorts of liquids from white carpet, because by doing that, it will show the people buying it we're relating the product more directly to the customer, so it shows them that it can fix their needs, so it's more appealing, so we have a higher chance of closing. That's strategy. That's understanding things. If the customer's like kind of soft-spoken and they're friendly, and well, the two are not in it, but they're soft-spoken, they're a little bit more introverted, they're a little bit more kind of quiet. If I'm talking to them, do I want to be talking like this and yelling and kind of talking the way I normally talk? Or do I want to be a little bit more soft-spoken? Do I want to talk a little bit slower? I don't want to come across as a fast-talking salesperson to someone that is a little bit softer spoken. Now, when I do a group chat, I usually get on the roll and, this is how it is. You guys, this is how I talk on the group chat. But if I'm and I'm not trying to sell you guys anything now, but if I was trying to sell you guys something, I'm going to communicate in a different way. So that's the whole reason we do this. That's the point of this. We want strategy. We want to be using our brain. We want to have clear thinking so we can kind of analyze and look at different things. What's the customer thinking? When the customer says these certain words, do they mean this, or do they actually have an insecurity or a fear behind that? I did one of my message negotiations, I think 2 weeks ago on David's group chat, on the Tuesday group chat. It was one of my message negotiations that I broke down, and there was a point in there where the guy was saying something, but I could feel the uncertainty underneath what he was saying, and I responded correctly. When you get really good at this, you'll be able to feel their ego and their uncertainty, and they might say something, but it might not actually be what it means. There might be like a core different reason behind that. So that's one of the things that we do with this. Where is this at? Group chat right here. Bleeding effect. We're going to go here. All right. So message negotiation conversation rules. Thank you, Sam. These are all correct. Let's look at RWOCM, because this is like the fundamentals. Every message negotiation goes off this. So a sales conversation is all about getting an end result. It's all about getting an end result. It's about where are we at with the customer now, and it's about trying to get the deal closed. So let's say like me and David Magner. Me and David Magner are very good friends. David Magner actually bought Next Level. He quit his MRI job, and now he flips phones full time. He lives like 20 minutes from me. And the reason he's so successful is because I teach David Magner all the secret things that I don't share with anyone in Next Level, which gives them a competitive advantage. I share with him the platforms that no one's posting to, the secret direct buyers that live in Planet 50 or Area 51 that pay thousands of dollars for iCloud Lock. Oh, is that not, did I make any of that up? Okay, so that might not be 100% true. I just wanted to say something funny before we got into the nuts and bolts of it. So, but if I'm hanging out with David Magner, we're probably talking, we're probably catching up. He's probably telling me about the new gym. There's not really an end result to why we're hanging out. When a customer hits us up, though, there's an end result. The customer doesn't care about our day. They don't care about that we bought this program and we want to make phone flipping work. They don't care about anything except that they want a price for their phone. So it's our job as phone flipping professionals to lead the customer through the conversation as quickly and effectively as possible to get the customer a price. And I could probably prove this to you because I could ask you guys, has anyone ever had someone that messages them and they say something along the lines of, iPhone 8, how much? Why do they say how much the first time they message us? Because they want a price. They are so dead set on the price, they don't want to even answer any questions. Sometimes, though, we have to ask questions, but we want to ask the least amount of questions as effectively as possible so we can get an offer. The more we go through this process, the more effectively we go through this process, there is momentum that's built. So the customer R stands for the customer reaches out to us. Once the customer reaches out to us, we've got to figure out what they have, the phone, the carrier, the condition, or maybe the MacBook, the specs, and the condition. Then we make an offer, then we close them, and then we go for the meetup. As we move through this process, and it can be a good idea in our heads to be thinking where we are in this process. We're at the W phase, all right? Once I got the W phase figured out and I figure out the phone, the carrier, condition, now it's time to make an offer. There is actually momentum that you will be able to start to feel as you move through this process that will allow the conversation to go smoother, and it has a higher chance with everything else being the same as the customer accepting the offer, because the customer is not sitting there getting aggravated, having to overthink and answering 50 questions. They're saying, I did all these things, I answered a couple questions, I got the offer. This person knows what they're doing. RJ asked me a couple questions. He didn't ask me any questions that were confusing. He made an offer. This guy is a professional. I like that. Then we close, and then we go for the meetup. So we want to be thinking about that. And if we're ever stalling in anything, we want to be like moving things forward. We want to be moving things forward. 3 levels, 4 parts. We want to talk to a 3rd grader, like a 3rd grade reading level. We never want to say any words that could confuse them. Because if we say any word, guys, what are some words that might confuse a customer? I just need to get this figured out. What are some words that might confuse a customer? Words that might confuse a customer. And then we're going to talk about Sam's hot cocoa story that has to do with me. IMEI, ESN, blacklisted, sick W, unlocked. Unlocked could be one, right? What do you mean by unlocked? Okay, I didn't know what unlocked was before I bought it. Before I bought David's course. What were we talking about with all this stuff? So we got to make sure that all the words we say, a 3rd grader could understand. If a 3rd grader couldn't understand it, we don't want to say it. Any problems with the phone? A 3rd grader can understand that. What company was the phone with originally? A 3rd grader could understand that. Can you send me the ESN so I can see if it's unlocked or not? Guys, do you think every customer might understand what you mean by this? Can you send me the ESN so I can see if it's unlocked or not? No, some customers will, but a lot won't. And whenever we say a word, even one word that the customer might not understand, it causes anxiety, confusion, and frustration in the customer. Let me ask you guys this. Have you guys ever been to the dentist and maybe you had a cavity, or maybe you had to go through a procedure at the doctor's office, or maybe there was something wrong with your car, and if you didn't know anything about cars, the mechanic's like, well, the timing belt is chipped on the right, and that's what's causing it to only do 500 turns per second. So because of that, we need a new timing belt, and we need to clean the shot clocks. And maybe you didn't want to act like you didn't know what they meant by that, so you were just like, okay, and it was almost like you felt pressure because you didn't want to say you didn't know what that meant. You didn't want to sound stupid in front of them, but it kind of caused you some anxiety and some confusion. Has that ever happened to anyone here? Or maybe you're at the doctor's office and the doctor starts speaking, well, there's a thing on this, so because of that, we have to do this. And do we really care? Do we really care? Doc, if I'm sick, tell me what the medicine I need to take. If there's something wrong with the car, I don't even care. Just tell me how much it costs. I don't even care what's wrong with it. How much does it cost, and is it guaranteed to fix it? All right, it's $150, guaranteed to fix it. That's good. So we want to, what's the one? Third grade reading level, if a third grader can't understand it, we want to change the words that we use. The story that I like, I wanted to get some hot chocolate because I love hot chocolate with ice cream and kombucha. It's a great mix. You put it in the blender, you drink it. You guys will love it. Okay, maybe not. But I wanted to get hot chocolate, so I went to the gas station by me. And I walked in, and I'm looking, and they have a thing where they got the coffee. So they got the Mocha Choco normal coffee, and they got the other type of coffee, and then they got hot cocoa. And I didn't want hot cocoa. I wanted hot chocolate because I was afraid that maybe hot cocoa meant that there was going to be caffeine in it. Or maybe it was like kind of a combo between. It sounded different than hot chocolate. I know what hot chocolate is. I don't know what hot cocoa is. I'm pretty proactive. I took out my phone and I Googled hot cocoa. And I couldn't find anywhere where it said hot cocoa is always hot chocolate. And because I didn't want to sound like an idiot and ask the person at the front what hot cocoa meant, I literally got in my car. I went to another gas station where they just had a regular hot chocolate because I know what hot chocolate is, and I got hot chocolate. So that's the importance of this. That's the reason we always want to talk third grade reading level. We want to, every time we're writing out something, we want to have, would a third grader know this? Because we say anything like that, which towers does your phone work on? You guys see how this little thing right here could cause some confusion. And as soon as there's some confusion, as soon as we have caused some anxiety inside the customer, it's a big problem when we have an uphill battle. Sometimes it's just realizing that there's certain things that we are doing that we're messing up on and tweaking those things. And just by doing those things, you'll find that it's a smoother conversation with the customer moving forward. And of course, all these other things are correct. So I just wanted to recap a couple things, team, till we dive into the nuts and bolts. Oh, we got two of those. All right, so Holiday. Percy Holiday says iPhone 11 Pro Max. Right to the point. Now, guys, just because they get right to the point does not mean that they're not invested and they want to make the deal work. Like when I'm doing business, I like to get right to the point and not waste time, but I could still be fully invested in the combo. So, iPhone 11 Pro Max. And Monday, I want to see. I wish I could see the time, because if there is a big time gap between this, that could have caused an issue. I don't think it shows it. Guys, did I just lose that? Between what the customer, you guys see what I'm saying here? If the customer sent this and it took us like 30 minutes or an hour to respond, this would be the incorrect thing to say. Let's assume that there was a 30-minute gap between when the customer messaged you and we saw the message and respond. If that was the case, how would we want to start the conversation? What are the words that we'd want to say before all this, before we started conversing with the customer and having a conversation with the customer? So the customer sends us a message Monday at 11 a.m. We'll make this bigger. Monday at 11 a.m. iPhone 11 Pro Max. And we don't respond until Monday at 11:35 a.m. Perfect. Any problems with it? Why is this a big issue? Why is this a super big issue? Why is this this is a big problem? Big problem. Aloha's focused. Anyone? Why is this not the right thing to say? Let me make it a little bit bigger so the whole team can see. This is the incorrect thing to say right here. If there was a decent time gap, if there was like a 30-minute, thank you, David Kidd. That's what I was looking for. That's what I needed to hear. What we first want to say is exactly what David said. We want to say, sorry, just seeing this. Or, sorry, I just saw this. Why do we want to say, I'm sorry, I just saw this? Let me ask you guys a question. So, because I'm hungry, guys, we're all going to go get tacos. We're all going to go get tacos. All of us are going to go get tacos. Sam didn't want to pay, so I don't know. Maybe someone else is going to pay. Maybe David Magner will pay. Okay. I think maybe, is David on the group chat still? David Magner will pay, okay? It's no problem. He'll pay. It's no problem at all. David's down to pay. So we all go out to the taco place. And at the taco place, we walk in, we're excited. We finally got to see each other. We took a photo because we're at a selfie. We can all put it on Facebook, make everyone jealous that they didn't come along and hang out with us. And we walk into the taco place, and there's no hostess. And there's no signs. So we stand there kind of awkward. And we still stand there awkward. And we feel kind of awkward. And after 5 minutes, someone comes out in the front, and they say, oh, hey, how many are with you? Oh, we have 20 people with us. All right, follow me. Here's your booth. The server will be there with you in a second. Would anyone here, either them personally or no family members, that if that happened, would complain even after they were seated about how they didn't get greeted right away and it was bad customer service? Would anyone here know anyone, maybe yourself, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, that would be a little aggravated, and because we had to stand there for 5 minutes, that might quote-unquote ruin the rest of the experience? Why? Because someone walked in and it's just kind of proper, it's just proper like 2020 etiquette, where if someone walks into a restaurant where they need to get acknowledged right away, you wouldn't feel welcomed, right? You'd feel like they don't have their stuff together. So imagine that the customer sees your ad. I mean, you know how we're nervous the customer's going to flake. We're nervous the customer's going to try to scam us. The customer's nervous that we're going to flake. The customer's nervous that we're not legit. The customer sees your ad. They make an effort out of their day to send you a message that says iPhone 11 Pro Max. You don't respond for 35 minutes, and the first thing you say is any problems with it. That is the incorrect thing to say. The first thing we want to say is, sorry, I just saw this. Saying the word sorry diffuses all that. It diffuses all that, and it lets the customer know that, okay, the person apologized. Just like if we go back to the restaurant, 5 minutes later, the hostess comes out, and the hostess says, oh, Brenda, David, Aaron, Arthur. Well, they probably don't know your names. Michael, Mohammed, Ami, David. I am so sorry. I apologize for you guys waiting. We had, we're short-staffed. I had to run and do some stuff, but that doesn't justify why you guys are standing here. I apologize. My name is Aaron. Let me get you guys a seat, and I promise I'm going to make sure you guys have good service so your experience moving forward is hopefully good, and I can make up for you guys waiting here for 5 minutes. Guys, give me a 1 in the chat. If the server did that, if anyone here was feeling a little anxiety or pissed offness or not welcomed or awkwardness, if all that would go away simply because the hostess took a few seconds to apologize. Got a 1 from Sam. I got a yes from Michael. I got an infinity from Brenda. Especially, I got a 1 from Jesus. Especially if they said it kind of kind of caring the way that I said it. The 1 from Aloha. It does the same thing, guys. These little things, message negotiation, make a big deal. If it's just a couple minutes, it's no big deal. But if it's 30 minutes, an hour, a few hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, and this is very common because we don't see ads right away because you guys have other stuff going on. I'm not saying you need to respond to all your leads as instantly when they come in. That would actually, that would not be human. That would not be doable. But what I am saying is if some time goes on and between the time the customer messages you and you message the customer back, you definitely want to make sure the first thing you say is, sorry, I just saw this. Or else the customer's thinking, what is this? Do these guys know what they're doing? Doesn't sound like they're a good business to me. And what happens is if you don't say, sorry, I just saw this, and diffuse the the anxiety or negative feeling the customer could be thinking, and you go right into any problems with your phone, a lot of times, just like at the restaurant, how we're already sitting down, we would still be talking and pissed off about the situation that happened at the hostess's table 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes ago. The customer can have some anxiety about it, and they can feel some sort of negative way about you, and that can make the negotiatings harder. That can make them more resistant to come down in price and work with you, all because they don't like how you treated them in the beginning. You know, some people that respond to you guys, you know, they're not good. They might not be familiar with good customer service, but you'll also get people that make, you know, 50, 80, 100 grand a year that are used to going to kind of nice restaurants and the places that they go into, and they shop at Whole Foods. And I bought a lot of phones from people that are used to those type of experiences. And even just if you just walk into the gas station or Quick Trip, or you walk into like a restaurant or McDonald's, they're used to getting greeted right away. So you can imagine how they might feel after 30, 35 minutes. So again, I just wanted to reemphasize this point to make sure that we're all doing this. And if we're not doing it, at least we now know this moving forward so we can diffuse it. The correct thing to say would be, sorry, I just saw this. Any problems with your phone? Go right into it, but these 5 words will just be magical and help things move forward. So with that said, again, Jacob, I'm not sure. That's why you guys will always, why is it that I want to see the start to finish message negotiation from the very first thing to the very last thing? Because I'm looking for things like this. With Jacob, my friend, I can't see the time when they sent you this message, so I can't judge it based off this, but these little things make a big deal. You said perfect. You don't want to say the word perfect. Why? It's like, I don't like the word perfect. It's too excited. You're getting too excited. Perfect. Well, don't say, okay, it's not perfect. It's the guy's right to the point. iPhone 11 Pro Max, we go right into any problems with it. Is perfect going to make or break it, guys? Ain't going to make or break it. But it's little details. The guy, so you responded at, guys, wait did he respond at 2:02 or 2:30? 10:30. I don't know. I can't even say the right things. No, the carrier is AT&T. Oh, well, this is a big fun. Guys, what's the problem? What's the problem? Let me try to zoom it in. I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah, ain't gonna let me zoom it in. What's the big problem right here? The customer said, no, the carrier is AT&T at 10:30 a.m., and the offer didn't get put out till 2:28 p.m., 4 hours later, okay? You messaged the customer at 10:02. The customer messaged you back 30 minutes later, and you waited 4 hours to make the offer. If you're busy, Jacob, I totally get it. When I got started, I was working a full-time job. But we definitely want to put, hey, sorry, man. Hey, sorry for the late reply. Hey, sorry, Percy, for the late reply, comma. You have a great phone. I could give you $420 for it. Maybe even throw like a line of intent just because you don't want, as time goes on, the conversations start to get stale. So again, it's these little things. Now, the offer line's very good, Jacob. The offer line's very good. Also, I can give you $420 for it. It's a perfect offer line. What's the other thing that's very good about this? Dude's right to the point. Jacob got any problems with it? The guy said no. He also said the carrier, knew everything he needed. You could go ahead and appraise it right off the bat. Yep, Michael says gave the offer 4 hours later. Absolutely. And you're going to give offers 4 hours later. It happens. It's very common. But when you do acknowledge it, hey, sorry, Percy. Sorry for the late reply, Percy. Send. You have a great phone, comma, I can give you $420 for it. You guys see how that would just in the customer's mind be like, oh, okay. All right. The guy kind of said he apologized, right? But he made an offer. So this is very important, Jacob. This is very important. He says, nah, $620. Now, let me get out my notes. And in my notes section, it says to make the offer. And then it says, after the offer is made, if customer says no, I always got to get a dollar amount from the customer before I can start negotiating with the customer on the phone. Guys, could someone help me out in the chat? Why is it that if the customer says no to my price, I make the offer, the customer says no, why is it that I have to get a dollar amount figure from the customer of what the customer wants for their phone before I can start the negotiation? Why is getting dollar amounts so important? Jesus says they're invested. Absolutely. We talked about this in excruciating detail like a couple group chats ago, so we're not going to go into it right now. But it's the customer is invested. When the customer goes into their head, how much would I want to get for their phone? I mean, let's see. You know, I paid $1,000 for it. I think phones appreciate, quote unquote. I think, you know, I sold my house for about the same price I paid for it. Actually, a little bit more, maybe adjusted for inflation, about the same 10 years later. So I paid $1,000 for my phone, even though it's been 5 years. I'll take $1,000 for my phone, sir. It doesn't matter what the price they say is. All we need is a price, because they have to go into their head and they have to go through that process. It shows that we're keeping them engaged. Now, what do we have right here? Jacob, customer, got a counteroffer right away. Nah, $260. Whatever it is. Whatever it says. It's a higher dollar amount than the $420. Nah, $620. So we got an offer right here. So what we can do right here is, since we got a dollar amount, we can go right into the 4 parts of an effective counteroffer. Correct? Awesome. I can give you $420 for it. Nah, $620. You got a great phone, Percy. Just that I buy and sell phones and need to make a little profit. Would you take any less if I made you today with cash? And almost always when you say these lines, they come down in price. Is he going to come down in price to the price you need him to? Probably not. But at least we start to shrink the gap between where you're at and where they're at. And you could probably come up in price a little bit, because we always offer a little bit lower than the max. Guys, why is it on the first offer we offer less than the absolute max we could pay for their phone? What's the point in that? Why do we offer the absolute max? Why do we not offer the absolute max and we want to offer less than the absolute max? My man Michael says room to negotiate. Aaron H says room to go up. You guys are absolutely right. You have enough room to negotiate. Guys, the other reason we do it is sometimes they accept the first offer and you go pick up a phone and you make a bunch of money. Would someone tell me in the chat the absolute most profit that they've made from a single flip before on one item? Would someone let me know in the chat in their career it doesn't have to be, but around the profit that they made from flipping one item, a phone, a laptop, a tablet, Apple Watch, whatever. My guy Aaron says $200. Michael says $350. Sam Superman, $460 in profit from a single flip, one item. It would take me about 2 weeks to make that in my job. Sam, that guy made it one flip. Brenda, $175. David Kennedy was over $400. Jesus made $140. So the other reason, guys, I gotta get some water. Hold on. Woo! The other reason that we offer a little bit less is because sometimes people will accept it and you can go have really big wins. And when you make a lot of money, it feels really, really, really good. The other reason is it gives you room to negotiate. And the reason it gives you room to negotiate is so important is because it allows you to come up $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, sometimes a little bit more. And this does a couple things. If you're at $420 and the customer's at $620 and you got to get them down $200, let me ask you guys, this is what I want you to think, right? So let's pretend, all right, who do we have on here? Who do we have on here that could be the next? We have MC, okay? So MC reaches out to me, and MC has got a phone, and I offer, let's just say I offer this amount. I offer $420. I ask MC what MC wants for it. MC says MC wants $620 for it. And because this is my max amount, I can't go up in price anymore. So I have to work really hard to get MC down to $200. And I eventually get MC down $200. Do you think that MC is going to feel some sort of way? Because, you know, MC kept coming down in price, came down $20, then another $30, then came down $50, and then $20, and I didn't come up in price at all. Wouldn't it be easier if I might not be able to come up as much as MC goes down, but maybe MC goes down $150, I come up $50, and then from the customer's perspective, it makes it seem like we're both sacrificing. The customer is sacrificing a little bit for what they want in the profit, but I'm coming up a little bit, and that shows that I'm trying to work with them. So not only is it easier to come up, that's one of the reasons that we do want to give us some wiggle room to come up in price. So the customer says, okay, you know, I am coming down more than than this person's coming up in price, but at least they're coming up a little bit. They're taking a little bit less profit, so it's kind of like we're both equally sacrificing. You guys kind of see why that's so important in the negotiating phase, that underlying thing that's happening that's not really talked about, but it's something that's felt. It's very powerful. Now, getting back on track, guy says, oh, we said awesome. I can give you $420 for it, so Jacob made a fantastic offer. He says, nah, $620. We got the offer. Now we can go right to the 4 parts of an effective counteroffer. All right, Jacob, what are we doing here? Jacob, is Jacob on the chat? Let me see. Jacob, what are you doing here? Why would you see if you can pay that price? You're not going to be able to pay that price, okay? You're probably not, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to pay that price. Just go to the counteroffer. Go to the counteroffer. This is not following the script. The customer is right to the point. You made an offer. The customer gave you a counteroffer. Why would you not go into the 4 parts of an effective counteroffer? You have a great phone. It just, I buy and sell and need to make a little profit. Profit. Would you do any less if I met you today with cash? And if we said this would have us, I always negotiate. David Kosciuszko was actually asking me about this, and I said I always negotiate just based on price. I negotiate just based on price. I think he was asking me on like a group chat, a Tuesday group chat a couple weeks ago. I don't know. But I stick to the price because when you stick to the price and you negotiate on price, you're kind of staying in the most direct path you can stay in. When you is the phone unlocked? Could you send me the IMEI? Maybe I could unlock it, right? Maybe, no, there's too much stuff. Focus on price. Now, after you go back and forth on just price a little bit, then get the gigabytes. Then it's probably not going to be paid off. I don't even know why you'd ask if it's paid off. That doesn't really make any sense. And what's he going to say? Yeah, it's paid off. You going to trust that he's paid off? Yeah, bro, my phone's paid off. It's paid off, and you know what? I actually unlocked it. Yeah, I bought it from Sprint 2 days ago, and I paid it off, and I unlocked it. So go ahead. You're going to give me more for it? You want to buy it for $620? You guys see that doesn't really – it can obviously work, but I want to stick to price because I want my conversations to be right to the point and be fluent. Oh, Mike says he's using the old script. Okay. Well, if you're using the old script, Jacob, that's okay, but go through the 4 parts. And if you go into the back office, it is my fault. I think part 1 of the negotiating, I still have some of the older stuff. I just haven't updated it. And it's like 6.5 hours, I think, for all 4 parts of the message negotiation. So I probably don't ever plan to update it. But you got to go through the entire 4 parts of the message negotiation in Next Level. And that stipulates, so if you haven't done that yet, that's totally fine. It's not your fault. But you still need to go through it. You need to make a decision to go through it because you need to use the 4 parts. You have a great phone. Intent. It's just I buy and sell and need to make a little profit. Excuse. Would you do any less? Soft offer if I made today with cash. And I want you guys to feel the combo. If we said this line, he would have said, Probably would have said 600. My guess is. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Well, let's see if I can pay that price. Any idea how many gigabytes the phone is? 64? Is the phone paid off yet? Nah. Yikes. What's this? Guys, what's this doing right here? This isn't getting me anywhere. I've sent a few messages back and forth, and there hasn't been a counteroffer. If you go too long without making a counteroffer, getting a price, you making a counteroffer, or the customer getting a counteroffer for the price, it veers off of the track of negotiating. It's not good. You eventually get what I call an outer space, and it's not good. It's like it's not staying on track. And you're saying yikes. It's almost like, now, Jacob, I know why you're saying yikes. You're saying yikes because you're trying to show that these are not good things. Correct? Correct. Okay? You're saying yikes probably because you're trying to let the customer know that these are issues. And because they are issues, you're trying to make the customer feel bad about these things to try to get the customer to come down in price. Right? Right. You guys agree with me on this? What's real, but the question I would ask you guys is the guy knows that his phone's 64 gigabyte and he knows that it's paid off. So why would that change what he wants for his phone? Think about this. He knows it's his phone. He knows it's 64 and he knows his phone's not paid off. So why would you saying yikes change how he feels about what he wants for his phone? Because even though you don't like this, it's the same condition it was 3 seconds ago, so I'd still be set on doing 620. Someone says, because of Felden, I agree. Yes, gonna say aloha. I'm not sure what that means. If Felden says yikes, then hey man, look, more power. Look, and what my way of doing it, guys, I guess I should probably put out there is probably just one way. I'm sure there's other ways that work, but the way that I have is very, 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 very effective. But if you want to say yikes, I'm not hating on anyone. You guys know I love Felden. Felden's a winner, so feel free to say yikes as well. And I could see this, I could see but it's like, I want to stay negotiating on price. Just me, what I would do personally, Aaron, I would negotiate on price. It's a great phone and I want to buy it, but we buy items in resale, so we need to make a little profit. Would you take any less if we made today with cash? You guys see all this? Now, pay attention. Guys, everyone here pay attention to this. This is finally getting into the 4 parts. All this other shit right here is just filler. It's slowing down the process. It's making the customer think. You want to cut all this out and just say this. Then he says, yeah. What's the highest? You buy broken phones? So it's, what are we doing here? So after he said, yeah, I would have said, okay, cool. It sounds like he's not even really thinking. I might just hit him with a medium offer at that point. I might hit him with a medium offer. Yeah. All right, sounds good. So would you do, well, you only came up $20. I come up like $35, maybe $25. Would you do $435 if I made today with cash, right? Go right into the counter offer. That move is dangerous from a beginning. Well, guys, this is what I tell everyone, right? This is what I tell everyone. I want everyone here to be significantly better than everyone that's phone. I want everyone here to be significantly better than phone flipping, and than me. I want everyone here to take this stuff, run with it, and be even better, make even more money, do more than $115,000 a month driving around picking up phones. But what I have works, and it's a solid structure. I see people all the time. They get into this, and they go through the training. They get the foundation down, and then once they have the foundation and they kind of understand psychology, they'll say certain things in certain situations that work real good. They put their own twist on things. They put themselves into it, and it's great. I want everyone here doing it. But the fastest way to be successful is to follow a blueprint, and then once you have that blueprint, then start running with it. I mean, that's what Felden did. Felden was in VIP program that we had earlier last year, and he went through the 4 parts, he went through the 3 levels, and that's the stuff he was using, and his stuff really started moving. And then once you understand this stuff and you feel it and you have the results, then you kind of put your own twist on stuff. I see people doing it with the ads. They have the foundation of the ads, and once they kind of understand the little things that's taught, they put their own, hey, I got this kind of new trick to get ads to stick. And sometimes it's really good. And sometimes I start using it myself because it's like really, really solid. But I never really see anyone that gets in and doesn't really have the foundation and the structure of all the solid stuff, because you kind of got to have the foundation and then you kind of build on it. So that's my rant as far as that goes. But you guys take it however you want to take it, right? It's your business. I want you guys to run your business how you see fit. But see, that we could have cut all this out. And just made a counteroffer. It's a great phone. I want to buy it. Just want to buy and sell. Said, yeah. What's the highest? He buys broken phones. Highest I can do. And yeah, we buy broken phones. Like, doesn't matter what type of broken. Goes, it's demolished. This is what I'm feeling right here. He changed the subject. He was gung-ho about his iPhone 11 Pro Max. We were talking about the 11 Pro Max. What caused him to shift from talking about the iPhone Pro Max and bring up the broken phones? You want to know what I think? I think it was all this junk right here. This stall right here stalled us in the negotiating. It stalled us in the negotiating, and if we remember, the negotiating is RWOCM. So we made the counteroffer. He said no, but we stalled after he said nah 620, stalled with this. It slowed the momentum down of the conversation. And my guess is what happened by saying this, because it slowed the momentum down in that particular part of the negotiating, that we've been better to cut this out and get right here. He kind of lost interest and started bringing this up. My guess, fairly educated guess, I've been in about 30,000 message negotiations. If we just cut this off and just stuck to the script and said this, the momentum would have continued effectively through negotiating, and you would have been able to work on that phone instead of move off. So that's kind of the breakdown of that and what I would have done for that. You guys kind of see that? Also, you see how replying to each other is too long for negotiating. Yeah, they were going back and forth. Jesus makes a good point. It is better to get some momentum built up to where you're, if you're going back every couple minutes, there is better momentum than 5 hours, 5-hour delay. You can still close deals if you wait a few hours, they wait a few hours. But it's better to, and sometimes it's like that. Maybe you're working weird shifts or whatever. Maybe you're sleeping. There could be a billion things. But it is better if you can kind of get on the same page. So sometimes, like if I wait and the customer waits 5 hours and messages me and then the customer messages back, if there's a 5-hour gap between when when I respond and the customer messages me, I don't want to reply back in like a minute because it seems kind of needy. But I'll wait about 8 minutes and then I'll reply back. I don't want to reply back right away, but I want to give it a few minutes, but then I want to try to catch them while they're on their phone, where they're thinking about it, because then they'll think about it, and then they'll create a momentum. Woo! So that's what I got for you guys. That is the message negotiation, Jacob, and that is that. That's what I got for you guys. You guys make a good point, though. Well, we got a few minutes. Any questions you got for me? We'll hang out for about 5 more minutes, and then, guys, I gotta get some food, guys. I'm so hungry. Guys. I gotta get some food. Plans for the price drop. Oh, yes. So the best thing to do, okay. The first time I experienced a really big price drop was last February. Sure, prices were dropping 5, 10, 50. They were dropping a little bit. But last February, there was a price drop. Some of you guys remember it. Who was here last year? I know Brenda was here. David Kennedy, were you here last year? I think David Magner, Darius Moore has been been at this. Jesus has been here for a while, I know. I think Mike H. I know Mohammed, right? RJ, let's see. That's right. So what happened is this is what happens. Okay. In February, there was a massive price drop. I mean, it was like, I think $100 or $150, and everyone was freaking out. And what I noticed started happening is I started seeing more and more like new in-box phones and newer phones on OfferUp and Marketplace and all the platforms than before. And what I realized was happening is some of these guys that get phones often get in bed with some of these people. There's probably people that sell to a lot of you guys where they used to shop around for people to sell to, but they come across RJ. RJ's professional, and they just keep selling phones to RJ. No longer do they post their items on Marketplace or respond to ads because they trust and appreciate and respond to RJ. What happens, though, is when there's a big price drop, a percentage of these people that were in bed with other people, they think that the other person is screwing them over. They don't understand the price drop. So they'll start posting their phones on Marketplace. They'll start replying to ads again because they're like, fuck this guy screwing me out of $100, low ball MFer. I'm going to go find someone to not screw me over. And then they'll start replying to other messages. I started getting bombarded with leads, more leads than usual for new phones. And I started seeing more phones come up. I got so busy. Last February was the first month, or last year in February, I did over $100,000. I made around $25,000 in profit because my negotiating is pretty good, guys. Okay, if I might say so myself. My negotiating is fairly decent, and because it's better than a lot of the other phone flippers in my area, I was able to get a lot of those people that started looking for others and searching for others. I was able to get them to start selling to me. Sure, they weren't so happy about the price drop, but I stayed in the conversation. I used lines of intent. Say, I'm sorry, the price drop is universal, but I'd love to work out a deal. You get phones often. I would love to earn your business. Would you mind telling me what you're trying to get for your phone? Talk about the phone, I do buy and sell. I can't, and as soon as I get a dollar amount from it, I'd love to buy your phones. If you don't mind me asking, what were you looking to get for? I was looking to get $700. Well, just by them saying $700, I got them in the conversation with me a little bit because they put a price out. I'm reeling them in. You guys feel that? I'm reeling them in. They didn't like the offer. I did the 4 parts of an effective counter offer. They gave me the price they were looking to get for it. They're now it would have been the 3 levels. What were you looking to get for it? I'm looking to get $700. I got a price. They're invested now in just these small little steps. And then I use the 4 parts, but I use a soft offer because soft offer is it's a very high chain, would you take any less than 700? Oh, I could take 670, but that's that. You definitely have great phones, and I'd love to work out a deal with you. Could you possibly do 580? And what they're probably thinking is the other guy offered them a lower amount, probably similar to what I'm going to offer. But since they're talking to me and I'm following the script and I'm reeling them in, they've started the momentum of having the conversation with me. So a lot of them stuck with me. And then I met up with them and I did everything right. And now some of those people now still are in contact with me. So I was able to take a lot of people that were selling to other people that came out of the real woodworks and put them over to me. Price drop is very good. It's very good if your skill sets are good because you'll be able to beat the competition and put people underneath you. There's someone that talks about, I forget, she's like in the real estate niche, and this lady just freaking kills it. I mean, she's like a boss. Like Grant Cardone would be inspired. We'll just put it like that. And she was saying something how she likes it when interest rates go up and the market goes crazy. And there's like a recession like in 2008. Because her skill sets in her field are so high, all the other people don't know how to handle it, but she knows how to handle it because she's put in time studying, going through training, getting good at her craft, not having shiny object syndrome and jumping around from thing to thing to thing, not getting discouraged when a customer doesn't want to do a deal because she knows that it's part of the process. So she was able to get her skills really high. So in like A good economy, she does good. And a bad economy, she does really good. And that's where I want everyone here to be. My goal is for everyone here to get their skill set so good to where it doesn't matter. Price drop, you're doing really good. Not a price drop, everyone's killing it. I want everyone here to have the skills, and you have it in the back office. Everyone here has the training in the back office. You have access to it. Spend time going through the training. Get better at your craft. Taking action is important. You got to take action, but you also have to go through training. If you're not going through training and getting better information, how are you going to take better actions? How are you going to be more effective with the words that you say, with getting your ads to post, with being better at appraising, with diversifying your ads? You know, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I see some people ask questions at next level that they've been in next level for 3 to 6 months, and it shows me that they're not going through training in the back office, because a lot of some of the answers to those questions are in some of the first basic videos. It's there. Go through it. Implement it. Get a little bit better every day. It's 2020. I want everyone here to have a killer year. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. I'm not going to do the business for you. No one's going to do the business for you. It's up to you to take the actions, to go through the training, and to stay consistent so you can build that momentum. An airplane that weighs a whole lot of weight can defy gravity, but it needs to get a certain amount of momentum before it can lift off. If it starts and stops, and then starts and stops on the runway, it's never going to take off. Consistent momentum is needed for the plane to defy gravity and fly. The best part is, usually the hardest part is getting off the ground. A rocket ship, you look at a rocket ship that launches off, I don't know the stats, we can look it up, but I believe it's like it uses the most energy and the most resources, and it's hardest to get off the ground. Once it's like a little off the ground, it's still using a lot. But once it's kind of in the air and the momentum's going, it's kind of cruising. It's kind of cruising at that point. It's kind of cruising. Most people, they don't understand that. Yeah. In the beginning is the hardest. You stay with this, though, and it just gets so easy. It just gets so easy, but you got to stay with this, especially in the beginning. And in the middle, to get to the point to where you're, off the ground. You're cruising like the airplane, right? The airplane that's cruising at 50,000 square mile, whatever it is, you think it's taking a lot of effort? Sure, it's taking some fuel and everything, but since the airplane decided to get itself out there and worked hard in the beginning, now it's up there, it can just cruise. Just kind of keeps its foot on the gas, quote, so to speak, right? It just kind of cruises. That's where your business will be, but you got to put in the work up front to get your business up there and get it winning. Well, that's what I got for you guys. It was great hanging out with you guys. You guys know I love you guys, and I love seeing you guys and spending time with you guys. Go out there, keep kicking butt, keep killing it. You guys have a fantastic day. Bye for now. Thanks for seeing.